Hey nerds, welcome to my little book hole. That's right, it's a hole, it's not a nook. And I want to talk to you today about Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. I saw a lot of booktubers loving this book. I saw it on people's shelves. There was clearly a lot of love for this book. It was supposed to be a rock inspired fantasy with a lot of humor and action. And I thought, great, I can't wait to pick this up. I'm gonna wait for the right moment. I was already recommending it to someone else just based off what I'd heard. I thought, oh, this sounds like it might be up your alley. I thought it would be like the funny parts of Gentlemen Bastards, but mixed with this sort of rock aesthetic. I couldn't wait. And then I read it. Were you all lying? Were you just overhyped about this or something? I don't get it. I was really disappointed. Yeah, I was really surprised. I think this is probably the most disappointed I've been reading a book for a while. Everyone said it was really good, but I was bored for most of it. So let's talk about what this book is about. Basically, this is a world where you have bands of mercenaries who are literally called bands who go hunt down monsters and become very famous and are treated like rock stars. Our main group were big back in the day, but now they're old, fat, and they don't really speak to each other anymore. But one day, one of the teen, Gabriel, comes to Clay, who is our point of view for the book, and says, my daughter is in trouble. She's someone who is also in a band. She's in a really tough situation. I want to get the band back together to save her. The concept's great. It's cool. And the characters are good. I think one issue I had is that maybe it took a little bit too long for the band to get back together. I know it was intentional, but it sort of meant that for half the book we weren't in this good sort of rhythm of these characters bouncing off each other yet. And so for a lot of time I was really bored, I'm sad to say. The other thing was I wanted this book to be really funny. I just wasn't laughing. There's a mention of an owlbear, and when I first heard it, I just groaned. Now, I get that this is like a D&D thing, and I've played D&D, I've dabbled in my tabletops, so I kind of get where the humor's coming from. But I think because the humor hadn't hit me yet, I just groaned. Whereas I think in another book, if someone mentioned an owlbear, I'd be like, yeah, great reference, that's so funny. The only exception is Moog. So Moog is like the wizard of the group, and he's a bit quirky and funny. And I think his lines are genuinely funny, but there's just nothing in that made me laugh out loud or even smirk while I was reading this, which is a real shame. I know it's hard for a book to make you laugh, but Scott Lynch managed it, Murderbot managed it, one of my favourite series, Johannes Cabal, managed it, but sadly I found the humour to be really lacking. I will say the action was good, but maybe there's too much of it. There wasn't any big character moments where they just chat to each other. It just felt like it reached a point where it's just going from action to action to action to action, which for me can get a bit boring. But I will say the finale was good. I think the build up to that was great, and I did enjoy the last 50 pages. It's just unfortunate that doesn't make up for the large amount of time where I felt bored. And if this was a few years ago and I picked this up, I think I might have even DNF'd it because I was just not feeling it for a lot of the book. Sort of editing Emma, cutting in here. I know I'm basically in the same position, but not quite. So I thought I'd address it so you don't kind of go, why has she moved 2 inches forward? Anyway, so 2 things I didn't really say. One, I think this book really could have done with some trimming down. I think there's some action bits that didn't need to be there that could have been cut and got us through the slog a bit quicker. Maybe 50, 100 pages could have been cut, I think. And another thing that occurred to me towards the end of the book, people kind of praised the concept of, oh, it's so cool that they're like old and out of shape, it's great to have old characters. But old male characters, especially fighting types, being pulled back to do one last job isn't that original. that's a trope. I think the only original part is that there's a whole group of them. But I kind of realized the more we got into the book that actually I have seen this before, and it's maybe not as original as it thinks it is. Give me some older ladies, and then I'll be in. Yeah. So something I thought of, a question that kind of came to my mind as I was reading this, and that is this actually a boys' book? Is this one of those things where everyone who said it's really good is a dude? And then actually you start hearing from the women and they're gonna go, it's fine. So if you're a girl or non-binary and you actually love this book, let me know. I'd be interested to hear from you. Final thing, and this might be more a me issue than an issue of the book. I really thought there'd be way more like musical references. So either they're just not as many as I was expecting, or they flew over my head because my music knowledge is kind of shit. So I'm not going to put that as a criticism because I'm very aware that might just be a me issue. And that's Kings of the Wyld. I'm not going to read the next book because as fun as the ending was, and as intrigued as I am about the character Rose and her band, I just can't quite get over the fact that for huge chunks of this book I just wanted to be reading something else. Sorry. And that'll do it. Let me know your thoughts on the book, whether you loved it or did you feel kind of met on it like I did. I'd be interested in hearing from you in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Bye!